On today's Minute of the Apes, it's a Monday, and the audio board is shitting all over me to prove that it is.
Divine bomb. They are the good human and the dead human. Where there is fire, there is smoke. Now fight like
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. I've got Richard and Sean across from me, and I've got an audio board that's finally not just going, hey, I don't want to do this today. How many episodes has this board done now? We're up at
like
600.
At least more than 600.
I really did.
Have we done it all with that board?
Yes, we've done it all with that board, and I thought of you the other day, Sean, because I was like, man,
620.
Mute buttons would be so nice. I literally was like, okay, what do I do to sell that board in between these two movies and actually buy a board that I can mute shit?
There you go.
That would be so very nice. Richard, how are you this morning?
I'm good.
Are you?
He's going through checklist stuff.
I'm just kind of organizing my area over here and just kind of being ready.
So many people know, so often we say that Richard gives us his time on Sunday mornings to record a week at a time while he's also doing his checklist for his fine comic book store, Zeus Comics, on Edward Road in Dallas, and you can find them at ZeusComics.com. But there's nothing more entertaining than just lightly ribbing him going, hey, you know, and I know you're working at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well,
just getting everything organized, you know. Thinking
yeah.
about the minute, thinking about what we got ahead. Yeah, getting my head in the game. Well, last week I was giddy to record today. I'm a little sleepy.
All right.
It's overcast. It's kind of blah outside. Yeah. It feels like you need to go back to bed.
We're in that time that you, as a Texan, what are you cracking open there, Richard?
Truly.
Okay. At 9:07 in the morning.
That's right. It's 9:07 somewhere.
There you go.
In fact, it's right here.
But we are in that weird time as being Texans where it truly is that kind of weather which you will get anything on any given day. Just yesterday we were down in the 30s to the 40s, and I think today we're supposed to be close to that.
Like 76, something
just
like that.
Just shy of
nice.
80.
Some sunshine. Right now it's a little rainy, a little overcast, a little gross.
Oh, that was one thing my watch did this morning was to wake me up and go, dense fog alert. I'm like, I'm in
Thank
bed.
You for telling
I don't
me.
care. So I had to turn those alerts off. Okay, all catch up aside, here we are. We're at minute 71. Sean, let's get going. Tell us what's happening with minute 71.
All right, all catch up aside. Let's relish this. All right, we're going to start minute 71 with Ari saying, took him in, and ends with Ari saying, Davidson dropped in from the stars.
All right, here it comes. Minute 71. Tim Burton, Helena Bonham Carter, Planet of the Apes.
I took him in. He was a great soldier. Attar was his best pupil, and now they're enemies. I'd like to see your world.
I don't know. Probably prod you and poke you and throw you in a cage, too.
You'd protect me. I think you're going to save them. Tomorrow, after you meet your friends, we'll never see you again.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell them. I didn't promise them anything.
No. You just dropped in from the stars.
As minute 71, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, 2 displaced pods worth of humans and apes, wild humans, ape city minus those 2 poor gorillas, and humans on the loose and monkeys on the march.
All right, so visually we get a lot of back and forth between Leo and Ari. Well lit by what's supposed to be a campfire, though campfires often flicker and send pulsing bits of light, so I do wonder why we just have solid light. And in the shot of Leo, there is a campfire behind him, and there is no backlight upon his shoulders at all. So weirdly lit, but at the same time, pretty in its own ways. They talk about Ari's friend and his whatnot past, Leo looking to the stars. They both cast their eyes upward and begin talking. The back and forth continues, and suddenly we get Estella going, oh, wait, how many feet away am I? Probably a good 15 feet away. And I'm like, oh, did they just say something that somehow makes me need to look at them? Doesn't make sense, but we'll get to that. The back and forth continues, back and forth, and we get a 3-shot of Estella and her group, and that's pretty much the extent visually. So I want to start with saying I think that this, in a better movie, is probably a pretty good scene. This idea of, is your world different than mine? The things, they probably poke and prod you. And besides the weird ooky, hey, flirting human to chimpanzee.
Yeah.
I get what they mean by they probably poke and prod you, you'd save me. Because it could, if that had been better constructed where she'd saved him from that he'd do the same.
Also,
this could be a good scene.
Why did she think he would save her? Well, I mean, what relationship do they have?
Well, he's never shown that characteristic at all that he wants.
That's the whole thing. What he says is at the end, I've never promised that I'm going to rescue these people. Why does she think he's going to save her if something happens?
Well, and I thought the funny thing is I don't know that in this movie that he's even ever mentioned not saving them or saving them, or that they think
all
it.
he wants to do is, I got 36 hours to get the fuck out of here.
Right. Richard, you're very quiet.
Well, we finally get Atar named.
That is our first official. This is when we finally get
we get Atar named. We find out a little bit more of Krull's background, that he was a great soldier, that he, the last minute he had crossed Thade. This minute we find out that Atar was his greatest pupil. So he was clear an authority over Atar and below Thade at some point. Then I actually really... I know it's an adventure movie, an action movie. This slow moment with Helena specifically is more of what I would have liked to have seen throughout this film, because she is coming across so well. They don't give much of Mark to actually do.
But at the same time, he actually handles the scene well. There's not a lot of breathing; it's simply reacting,
and it's not a lot of sentences either. But
looking around.
But at the same time, they always say great acting is great listening. And I think that he is engaged in the scene. That I did feel that he's present in this scene.
Mm-hmm. I like the look up to the stars. I like that even though they're on a set, we get this nice moment where clearly they appear to be looking at the stars. And, where she's acknowledging that he actually came from the stars, right?
I was about to say, it's not sorcery anymore.
I think at this point, we haven't really established that he came from the stars, right? That this is space, and she can understand that concept.
Right.
She can't understand zoos, but she can understand the concept of space.
That is true. That's a good one.
The "you protect me" line, it sounds creepy when you read it in the script, but she does so well with it, it just feels kind of natural.
I think so too. I thought that very thing. It feels like it should be gross, but because she's so skillful, it doesn't come across as gross at all.
And she gives her, in between her lines, she gives them the breadth and the pause they need to make it sound like she's having a normal conversation as opposed to written. She does a great job. And then, halfway through, all of a sudden, Estella Warren is just looking over after the "you protect me"
what
line.
is this bullshit? Yeah.
Okay, so
real quick before the "you protect me," I put my note was, you don't know me. You're the girl that gets drunk at a bar, starts shit, and then wants me to have to fight for you because you started shit.
Well, that's kind of the underlying theme of this movie is you don't know shit. Mm-hmm. But okay, so their nice moment, and again, to give Mark Wahlberg a little credit, let's go back to where you said you like to look up to the stars, Richard. I think and I'm sure it's a bit of Tim Burton directing him as well, keep your face still, but let your eyes tell us you're looking to the stars and back to her. And it's just a simple, those little simple bits of directing or choices are great. That's a character type thing. He's sure that those stars are still there and he only needs to look, that comes up across so well. That then when the car slams into the bridge, falls off the cliff, and goes tumbling 60,000 miles away because Estella just all of a sudden goes, huh? Right. It's like everything about the scene that was actually working, I don't want to say it's ruined, but it's like, why? Why am I worried about what she thinks about him? You've not given... There's another thing you've not given me anything about.
Well, so one simple change in this edit would have worked. Mm-hmm. She says, "You'd protect me," right? Then we cut to Estella Then we cut back, then Ari smiles. Then we cut back to Mark, Leo, who then turns and looks at Estella. Had she said, "You'd protect me," and smile, and Leo looked to Estella, it would give reason Estella to look up out of curiosity.
Yeah.
That one small change would have made a lot more sense, just because she would have been responding to Leo looking at her.
Well, you're absolutely right. And what I wonder is why don't we have, and maybe they had it, why didn't Helen look over at, you do this thing all the time where, Sean and I are talking in a movie and some comments made that makes me look over my shoulder and makes him look away. She's looking at Estella for some reason. It's almost like if the whole "they think you protect them" thing, if that's what provoked him to look when she did it. Anything like that suddenly doesn't make this weird. But because of inserting it, you were trying so hard to create a relationship that doesn't exist at all.
It doesn't exist. I mean, we know that Ari's been flirting with Leo.
Yeah.
Leo has not been responding to her or to Dana at all.
Right.
So there's no, other than hot guy, hot girl, there's no reason for them to have that kind of
connection.
And her dad just died. I'm sorry. I'd be a little more distraught over the fact that my dad just,
come on,
is dead.
This is Planet of the Apes. We don't really care about things like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't hold on to the actual things that crush us and our souls.
So we're going to have more with Dana a little bit in the next minute, but there's a whole description of exactly what is going on, and I think it's probably more appropriate for the next minute. But it's just a little. It's a nice moment. We find out Atar's name. We have Helena does a really the way they're shining the light in her face, the way she's moving her eyebrows, the way she's able to work that piece, it almost looks natural. It doesn't look like she's actually wearing a mask. She's just moving. She's using her eyes so well, her mouth so well. It's so seamless.
There is a moment, and I know almost exactly what you're saying, at 31 seconds, where she just allows one corner of her face to draw a smile across that makeup, and then she bows her head down. It doesn't linger or anything. It's so human,
right,
that it comes across as, wow, I get this is an ape with this characteristic. And she's having to work through those prosthetics, and she's still doing it so subtly, and so she's making it look so subtle and so simple that it's normal as opposed to forced. I know I said this before, but the guy saw it. I 3D printed the Batman batarang
from the chest.
And because of it, sitting up here doing that last night, I thought, hey, I want to watch Vengeance. So I went down and put it on for a while. And I was reminded again, watching Robert Pattinson, if you took his mask off, how exaggerated his facial movements are. Eyes go very wide. But to read through that mask, it's exactly what has to have happen, and it doesn't look big. You take her makeup off, and it's probably that very same thing. She's drawing that face up there. But she's so freaking skilled, that she knows being this becomes that. She's great. I wish she were in a better movie. I really do.
Well, and if I were to compare her to Tim Roth and Thade, he's been giving these big dramatic moments, which allows him to actually go there with his face. It's the small moments like this that I would like to see a little bit from him as well, because what she's doing is masterful.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
At 34 seconds, if you listen to the audio, it's just them slurping as they're eating. Which
we'll talk about that the next minute, because apparently that's part of the script.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
We teased it. I just want to at least here it comes. I've got, this is 32 seconds, so you'll hear it in 2 seconds. Here it comes. Okay, when you just take that out, that's really a bad sound. Okay, well, that's in the script, and man, I actually can't wait to get to minute 72. Jeez, I want to know why we're slurping food, why we eat like animals.
We want to mention the fact that we'll go back because we brought it up at the beginning that he says he's never promised them anything,
right?
And he hasn't. We that's our complaint this entire time. They're following him, and he's never said anything about helping them or assisting them or whatever. Yeah. And now they've just laid it bare. And Ari even says you haven't promised. He says he hasn't promised anything, and she's like, no, but they think you're going to save them.
And okay, that is something I'm glad that we touched on that before we wrap this thing up. Save them from what?
Right.
Because again,
she just got to get back to her tribe.
You are okay. It really goes again to what Anakin was in the Phantom Menace. He's a slave by slave name only. There, we don't see any things where he is beaten or whatever. You really don't see much outside of that. They get shoved around and kind of smacked around a bit, but they
got nice clothes.
Yeah,
they got a cage they can live in.
No one is the first film. You're stringing humans up after a hunt.
After a hunt, yeah.
That is showing me that these people live a life where they're hunted as animals and they're treated as such. Their brains are cut out. These humans, I mean, Estella even, she looks pretty clean and her hair looks really radiant.
That kid's not doing too bad.
No,
yeah.
now they eat like animals. I give them that. But save them from what?
It might be different if, they had at some point spoken about the fact that Leo's from another tribe. Maybe this tribe is better off and they think they're going to a tribe that has more amenities or more food or more security or more safety. Surely they don't think they're going up to the stars because they don't think that concept really would follow through with them.
No.
It's a good moment between them, admission of what we already know, what we already speculated about, but we still don't understand what their motivation is for following him.
I just think there's so many ways that as we're exploring these, what are they saving them from? They could use them, for lack of a better phrase, but I don't know, cage fighting. You could put them in and watch them fight to the death, almost like cockfighting or whatever. I don't know what the PR way of saying that is, but there's something that we could do with these people to show that they are subjected to a life that they're not. And it's one of those that it's a great scene in a better movie.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it also makes me long for what it could have been so much because this is so unearned.
And we do end with this minute does end with just kind of a nice subtle moment. No, you just dropped from the stars. Just that kind of nice. I like the way this minute just kind of ends. Even though we have Dana Estella's 30-second in weird look over, who clearly is too far away to hear the conversation or even really. I mean, we can't even make out her face when they actually flash how far away she is.
But I'm glad you mentioned that last line delivery. It's Helena once again.
No, you just dropped from the stars. This is great.
That could be such a hokey line in the hands of a bad actor.
Right.
If that's in Wahlberg's mouth, that might be a on the ground.
Wait.
Hey, I just dropped from the stars. What do you want?
You just dropped from the stars.
Yes. We can't end it any better than Richard doing his best Mark Wahlberg. So for that, for Richard and Sean, I'm Todd. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Come